Hello, this is Lucinda Brown with Bible Buying Guide, and today we'll be looking at the Life Application Study Bible 3rd edition. Now I'm going to start with the NIV. That's the review I've got going up today. But I did a review a few weeks back of the NLT also and didn't do a video, so we'll be looking at that one, and we'll also be comparing it to the 2nd edition. Now I only have a NLT 2nd edition, but they're very similar, so that should help for anybody who wants to know what the new one, how the new one compares to the old. Now we have the brown and mahogany leather, like imitation leather cover here. This Bible is Smythe sewn. It has an 8.5 font in single column. Let's see, before we start looking at all of that, haven't done this part on video yet. This one weighs 3 pounds, 7.6 ounces. And measures, it's 9.5 by just under 7. By 2 inches. Like I was saying, it's Smythe sewn, single column, 8.5 font. It has poetry and set in stanzas. It has the quotes offset. Hopefully we'll find one of those in here as we go. Very nice feature for any study Bible is to have an introduction. Helps explain what the purpose of this particular study Bible is and all the features. I particularly like this timeline that runs along the bottom that has biblical events across the top and other world events across the bottom, so that you can see how the Bible relates to the rest of history, because the Bible is history. Now the NIV version has all of the extras in this, what I would call a berry red. The darker berry line that separates the text from the study notes, and then that same berry that highlights things like personality profiles and book introductions. The book introductions are really complete with outlines and themes and timelines, some basic facts about who wrote it and why and when and what the setting is, and a couple of key verses, and then an introduction. And then where it's appropriate, they also include a map of the area that's discussed in that book and some of the key places. You notice it has guide verses on the upper, in the header at the outside, with the page numbers just inside of that. There's all sorts of charts. And personality profiles. in the notes. And of course, the main thing is these life application notes. How do you take this and apply it to your life is what they're trying to do. The third edition contains 30 to 40% all new material. They've tried to update it. The Bible is for all people over all times, but they've updated it with more modern language and for more modern situations. Like in the past, people preached with a more you have to, and now they're we need to sort of tone of voice, so that is included in these, in the wording of these. And there's lots of little tiny maps whenever they're appropriate to help you understand the text. In the back we have a Christian workers resource. It has about following up with a new believer, getting the most out of this, figuring out if you've been asked to speak, what to speak about, how to go past reading to application. It has a 365-day reading plan where you can check it off as you go. A master index for all of the notes, charts, maps, so that you can find all of those resources if there's something in particular you're looking for. And then an index to just the charts. An index to just the maps, and an index to just the personality profile. So if you're looking, so you can either look by a specific topic or just for a particular type of help. And then you have the dictionary concordance. It's 3-column. And in the back you have these 14 full color maps on the glossy map paper. Now, when we do the reviews, we do some sample words in a concordance so you know how many entries. And I have to admit, there's one thing that baffled me here that I looked over and over again. God in all forms of it is one of the ones we always use. And this goes straight from glory, which has over a column. And yes, these are all references for verses, fear God and give him glory. Then it goes to godliness, godly, or God's pagan deities. There is no entry for just the word God in reference to the true God. I don't understand why they wouldn't include that in a concordance. Other than that, this is a fairly good concordance with a little bit of a dictionary. Now, let's get out the NLT version. This is about the same size. I mean, really close to the same size. So I'm assuming one of the first most noticeable differences is that all of its highlights are in green instead of berry. Now, which one of these you'd prefer would be completely personal preference. I personally am a little partial to the red. So this is the same size font, same sort of notes and indexes. The two major differences between the two of them is that this has just a regular, is the concordance, because this is an NLT dictionary concordance, and that's an NIV. And yes, this one actually references God. And the references when I was doing the reviews are quite a bit different. Other than that, and of course, translation notes. So anything that's specific to the translation is very different between the two, and almost everything else is very much the same. The maps are, like this is 16 maps instead of 14, and they're slightly different things. So let's look at a couple more pages side by side, including that really handy timeline. So you can see that's exactly the same, just in a different color. Of course, you'd always choose translation you prefer over the appearance, but same map. Character study. Chart. So now to compare one of them to the second edition. We have similar content. See, this is the character study map. This is actually the same chart as that one. It's just a little harder to see because they don't have the second color of ink. But you notice this one in general has fewer notes at the bottom. This one's book introduction. So if you love your second edition Life Application Study Bible, you shouldn't necessarily give it up, but if it's starting to get a little worn, it might be a good idea to get the third edition, just because it's everything that you liked about the previous edition, just with more information and more modern language. Now, this Bible is printed in China. I almost forgot to say that. And we were given these Bibles in exchange for an honest review. And you can find out more information. We'll put a link down below to the review of both of these. And be sure to leave any questions or comments. And I think that's all.